Hi, what I'd like to talk about today is value. To me, value is one of the most misunderstood, hackneyed and misused expressions in sales. We all tend to have a sense of what it is, but I'm not terribly sure that we really do. Let me explain how I first learned about value, or my first lesson in value. I was selling earth moving and mining construction machinery. This was sort of fairly early in my sales career, and I was working with a quarry owner on a new front-end loader. It was about a $300,000 sale, and I was traveling really well. I was fairly confident I had this one in the bag. So we're getting down to the final strokes here, and the buyer said to me, "Just like you to throw in this $1,000 accessory." And I said, "Well, we've already given you a pretty good price." And he said, "Yes," but he said, "I don't have a trade-in. This is a clean skin sale. So come on, just $1,000. You can manage that in $300,000." And I said, "Well, it's already a good price. Tell you what, I'll do it for $500. And he said, "Yeah, okay." He said, "Leave me to think about that. I've got to go and check with my finance anyway." He said, "Come back and see me tomorrow." So I went back to see him the next morning and walked in and said, "Well, how'd you get on with your finance?" And he said, "I've given the deal to one of your competitors." And I was absolutely gobsmacked. I sort of looked at him with this startled expression and said, "Why was that?" And he said, "Well," he said, "you arrogant." He said, I just asked for a $1,000 gimme and you wouldn't entertain it. So you needed to be taught a lesson." And wow, did I learn a lesson. And what was the lesson? Well, the lesson was that value wasn't what I thought it was, or even any of my colleagues. Value was whatever the buyer thought it was. And in this case, call it irrational, $1,000 and $300,000 isn't a lot. And there was a big difference in the equipment, but it was a big difference to him because it was a matter of retaining his manhood. And I dissed that. And I just didn't understand that that was important to him. And really, that's the point about value. There's not necessarily any rationale. And by the way, we human beings are predictably irrational. There's books written about that. Google them. And value to us is whatever we perceive it to be. It's like quality. Quality is in the eye of the beholder. And my perception of value could be quite different to yours. And so for that reason, you can't give value, you can't sell value. Value is received. And so expressions like value add, value propositions are somewhat incongruous. It's a bit like benefits, features and benefits. Remember those? A benefit is what you get. The feature is what provides you with the benefit, but it's not a benefit unless you're receiving it. The benefit is what you perceive it to be. And so it is with value. That's a mind shift for most salespeople because we keep thinking in terms of, well, what is value to us, and that's what we offer. And we extrapolate from our product, from its features, from its benefits, and we project that into thinking that is of value to the buyer. But we really don't know that. And how do we determine what value is to the buyer? Well, the interesting thing is that this is a conversation you can have pretty early in the sales cycle because it's a pretty non-threatening conversation. When you're asking the buyer, well, what's important to you? What's of value to you? We typically talk about needs, but we don't tend to talk about what value is. And just by the way, needs prompt people to buy. They provoke that buying desire. But it's value that determines what we buy. So ask the question. And the best way to do that is to project the buyer into the future and ask them the question, what's it going to feel like when they get the value they're looking for? For example, if you're leasing office space, ask the buyer, what's it going to be like living in this space? Give me a walk through it. He might talk about, say, well, there's going to be plenty of natural light, plenty of open plan, easy for my people to move around, plenty of storage space, meeting rooms where they can go off and cluster. And, he's going to describe what it feels like. And so that's a good way to do it. So ask buyers, how do you feel about this? Or how will you feel about that? And project them into the future. I'll be talking more about that in my next video. Until then, cheers.